A bit of brief backstory. Ever since my near-death experience I had several years ago, I'm more in tune with death than most. My great-grandmother has terminal cancer and COVID-19, and she's been suffering for several years with the cancer. Growing up with her in my life was awesome. Every summer, we would gather raspberries together and make jam, and we'd eat it with scones and laugh at cartoons in the newspaper. I've just woken up, and all I can smell is the raspberries in my bedroom. We don't have any in the house, and I think she's here in spirit, or something saying goodbye before she passes, letting me know that she's here. I don't believe in a higher power, but I did meditate and tell her that I loved her and that I'm sorry for not visiting her more as I grew up through my teen years. I hope she gets my message. I also asked that before she moves on to her next life, to visit my granny and mom and tell them goodbye too. I want everyone to have closure, and I hope that she will have heard me. If I'm right, I'll edit this post tonight and let you all know. She passed half an hour ago at 4:45 p.m. Thanks everyone for your kind words. It means a lot. My friend and I lived in a small city in Wisconsin, and I was in the car with him the other day driving down this long road. Keep in mind, the section of the road we were driving on had no train tracks anywhere near it, and it was not a busy road. The car we were driving was a brand new quiet little sports car. Didn't make any noise really. As we were driving, suddenly we both heard a noise that lasted about 5 to 10 seconds. The noise sounded like a train going very fast, with its horn blaring coming right at us. We could hear the tracks rumbling and everything, but we weren't near any trains or train tracks. Plus, the windows of the cars were all rolled up. As soon as the noise stopped, we looked at each other like what the just happened. We both described the sound to each other, confirming it wasn't imaginary. We made the decision to park the car on the side of the road and maybe see if something went crazy in the car itself. We checked under the hood, under the car, and around the whole car. Everything was in order. Not even a check engine light was on. We were dumbfounded, and it didn't make any sense. Nothing was passing us as we heard the noise and the radio was off. What the hell happened? Alright, so me and my brother were staying the night at our grandmother's house. And now for context. Her house is in the middle of the ghetto in a Gulf manor. Anyway, me and my brother were watching TV and my grandmother was at the store. And then suddenly, my brother says, "Wanna go into the basement?" And not trying to sound like a pussy, I say yes. Now this was the worst decision of the month. So we go into the basement. It is creepy as shit. And when we reach the bottom of the staircase, the door shuts closed behind us. Now I just shake it off as natural, but still a little uneasy. We go into the garage because her garage is in the basement. So we start going through the garage. We find a rusty pipe and a motorcycle handlebar and some faint writing on the wall. We obviously find other things like a lawnmower and lawn stuff. And then we hear bam, like a metal door slamming. It was the laundry room door. So me and my brother's pants are filled with metaphorical shit, so we run back upstairs, scared as hell. Later that night, we start to fall asleep. Grandmother's asleep. And then we hear what sounds like all the basement doors opening and slamming. It is now shit city in our pants, and Grandma is not awake. We end up falling asleep, and we tell Grandma about what happened yesterday. She just laughs and says, "That's just Jim messing with you." And then she explains that Jim was the old house owner, and he died there. That didn't really help us, but it did ease our minds. I was working in the garage under my car. I glanced at the side and I saw a pair of feet walking by with white shoes. I was under the engine and just saw it briefly, about half a second, between the wheel spokes. I got up from under my car as fast as I could, but there was no one there. I was there alone and there's only one door to the garage. I got out of the house and wrote this right now. I've dealt with questionable paranormal intrusions before, but nothing this intense and vivid. Honestly, have no fucking clue what I should do. I don't have any history of mental illness or hallucinations. I hate to disappoint, but this experience is more completely weird than scary. Nevertheless, it's not something that would happen on a day-to-day basis. In Hindi culture, Many families will have several models and idols displayed in their households to pray to and pay their respects as a representation of actual deities. They are also significant on holiday and other sacred events. I don't remember exactly when this happened, but it happened in one of my old households back when I moved around a lot. We had several deity models displayed in a glass shelf. Ones we still have today include folks like Saraswati and Krishna, from what I can remember. When my family woke up and came downstairs one day, my parents pointed out at the shelf. Most, if not all, of the idols, particularly the larger ones, were all perfectly rotated 90 degrees to the left. It was completely bizarre to say the least. This isn't particularly scary or harmful, but we were thoroughly confused as to what or why it happened. We've always placed them facing forward like anyone else would. Another thing to note is that in our culture, the sun is held sacred as well, in that we live in houses that face in an east-west direction, as it's considered a healthy condition, so there's no spiritual reason for the idols to point north to south. My mom's always been a fanatic for God, and believes more in spirituality than known science, although they're technically the same for our culture's history. To this day, I still don't have a logical explanation for this. We adjusted the idols and move on with our lives. It's the closest experience to a paranormal event. We were broken into before, in a house before this, an even longer time back, and there were no signs of one of these times. There's no reason for why anybody would break into a suburban house just to rotate their sacred figurines counterclockwise 90 degrees. I've always been interested in the strange and mysterious, and I would appreciate any explanation for this.
Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe for more videos.